Hi, everyone. It's Isabella here, and welcome back to another episode of the I've Got You podcast. So, hi, guys. First of all, we've unlocked a new setting. I am currently sitting in the park that I run my miles in. So, I was like, you know what? This is a good idea. I saw someone else do this on a podcast, and I was like, you know what? Why not? It's a summer afternoon. Look at the light. Look at how gorgeous this is. Like, this is a comfortable setting. And I was like, for a topic like this, a cozy, comfortable setting sounds like the best. So, first of all, happy Pride Month, everyone. I love when June comes around. You know, Pride is very important. Celebrating, bring awareness, you name it. And for today's video, I wanted to talk about me being bisexual and my journey with that. The fears, the thoughts that I've had, the good, the bad, the coming out, the loss. I want to talk about it all because I know someone's going to be able to relate to this. And I haven't ever talked about this thoroughly before because, quite frankly, I'm going to be so real with you guys. I've been very scared. And I know that sounds so silly. Like, you're usually not scared of a lot. I know. I'm usually not scared by a lot, but some things get me a little nervous. And talking about this has been more of like a nerve-wracking thing for me because I have unfortunately dealt with some things that have made me go like, made me kind of feel more quiet about me expressing myself and who I am. And that's really annoying. But I want to talk to you guys about life because I know someone can relate to me and this, and I think this is the perfect time to have this discussion. So before we get into all the goods, before I whip out my notes, because I wrote a lot, guys. I wrote a lot down on this phone of all these things I want to talk about, tell you guys. But yeah, anyways, while I'm whipping everything up, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. If you can, I would greatly appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. And definitely, if you are watching on Spotify, please leave a 5-star review. That would mean the absolute world to me. So we're going to go take it back years and years ago when I was very young. So I think a lot of people, I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but growing up, I never thought that there was an option to be anything besides straight. And now I think it was also due to like my surroundings. I mean, and also just was heavily raising the idea like you're going to grow up, you're going to meet a boy, you're going to fall in love, you're going to get married, you're going to have kids. That's it. And that was heavily glorified in the idea of that was who you're going to be, that's your purpose. It never occurred to me that my life could be significantly more than getting married and having kids and marrying a man specifically. Like, it was never like, hey, there could be other options for you. Also, I lived in a very, very small town in the middle of Kansas for the longest time. Like, I think up until I was about 7, I was in like California, Alabama, then I was in Kansas. I was not around any form of representation. There was nothing to make me go, oh, hey, I can relate to this, right? And so whenever I have these thoughts, I could not have an avenue of understanding myself, you know? And I remember when I was very young, like, yes, I absolutely had my girl crushes, but I didn't know that's what it was. Like, I thought every straight girl had this thought, like, oh, it's normal to be attracted to this girl. Oh, it's normal. And like, by the way, I'm saying it in the sense of normal for a straight girl. I didn't understand that. It's normal regardless. I'm just saying I didn't know. And I was like, oh, every straight girl has a moment where they would 100% make out with another girl. Like, I mean, I would have moments of like, damn, if I was a man, I would date you. But I didn't know, okay? And when you aren't around any representation, there's no one to talk to make you go, oh, yeah, me too. It's hard for you to even understand yourself. And for the longest time, I had no idea. I had not a freaking clue. So when we hit to 2021, where I have yapped and yapped about this, where I was essentially like, I call it my transformative year, my like big change year, where I kind of sat down with myself after a really bad breakup and I realized I had a lot of issues. And I also realized I had a lot of things I was unaware of myself, you know? And I was like, damn, am I religious because I was raised that way or do I believe it? Like, do I think this? And I had all these things that I was trying to explore within myself. And one of them was my sexuality. And honestly, that was such a stressful moment for me because am I claiming something that I'm not? Like, I really feel like this, I'm scared. And that might sound so silly, right? But when you're self-discovering and you're trying to understand who you are as a person, it could be intimidating because like you don't have anyone to talk to about it or connect with you in that way. So I had to go out of my way to look up like other people talking about their experiences because I was like, I don't have anyone close to me that can understand. I don't. So it was kind of isolating because I was freaked out. And I'm going to be honest. Oh my God, you guys, I'm so going to be real with you. I'm going to be so fucking real. I 100% looking up the quizzes of am I bisexual or am I a lesbian? I sure fucking did. And you know what? I better not hear one of y'all making fun of me for that. I had no idea what to do. I was like, I think I am, but like, I'm really scared. And I'm like, and I didn't want to upset anyone. And that sounds really silly, but I didn't want to claim something I wasn't. And I was like, oh my God, am I doing something wrong? Like, I didn't understand that this aspect of self-discovery was okay. I didn't have to have a label immediately. I could just try and figure it out and take my time. I just put so much pressure, and I was trying to find the answers. And, I'm trying to find the answer somewhere else because I'm like, I don't have anyone that I really can connect to that is going to be able to help me. I need to like genuinely look for this myself. So as I was watching other media and other people's coming out stories and their situations, I could find so much that I related to. Oh my God, me too. The idea of coming out was really, really scary because I was like, shit, what if some friends don't feel comfortable with me anymore? What if hanging out with the girls isn't the same because somebody doesn't like feel the same around me? I was scared of something changing. I was scared of people perceiving me differently. I think it's one of the many reasons why pride and queer media and talking about this is important, because you don't feel so fucking alone and confused. Because I felt alone and confused for a second. I didn't have people I grew up with that were able to be like, hey girl, me too. I didn't have anyone I connected with. It was difficult and intimidating and scary. And this kind of stuff is so important to talk about. And I felt so much better just being like, oh my God, like the weight lifted off my shoulders of not feeling so alone and being like, okay, this is who I am. I can be loud and proud about this. But with wanting to be loud and proud is also the fear connected, because I needed to then talk with my siblings and my parents, and I knew my other family was going to find out, and I knew something negative was going to come out of it, unfortunately. And it's really, oh, fuck. I know I could have it worse. I get really emotional about this because it feels very emotional to me, but I knew it could be worse. So, and it can be, right? Like my situation could have been so much worse, and I need to be very grateful. But there's still an aspect of this that is sad. I came out to my mom, and oh my God, my mom was so supportive, and my mom started tearing up like, oh my gosh, I hope you never thought that I wouldn't like not love you or support you. And I'm like, no, I know, it was just still scary regardless, and I told my siblings, and I remember one of my brothers was like, oh my God, you have so many more options, look at you, like laughing. And then it was so funny. My younger brother was like, I knew it. And then he came and hugged me, and I was like, what? And it was just the funniest thing. Like, it was very chill. I talked with my dad even, and my dad was like, I don't care who you bring home as long as you're happy and well taken care of. And it was nice. But I remember when I officially decided to talk about this, briefly make a post saying, this is who I am. And I think it was on Bisexual Visibility Day. And I made like a cute little photo, and I made some posts, and I was like, all right, I'm going to put this up on Instagram. I'm going to be brave. I'm going to say like, this is who I am, because I want people to know. I do want people to know this aspect about me. And I didn't think I owed anyone that, but I want it to be, no, this is my little step of, I'm scared, but I'm doing it still. And I remember I made a post. I had a feeling someone would have a bad response. And that sucks, to just have the feeling of, fuck, something is going to go wrong here. Now, here's the thing. All of my grandparents are divorced. I have 2 grandparents that are not here anymore. One of them, that was my favorite, quite frankly, is not here with us. Damn it, Denny, what the fuck? Anyways, so they are not with us. So I have 2 technically blood-related grandparents that are left with me. And one of them, she saw my post, and her reaction was actually worse than what I expected. And fuck. From what I remember, it was not a very positive response, and it was angry. And I made it clear to even my parents, if someone doesn't understand, if someone has questions, I am more than willing to talk and answer, because I didn't understand myself for the longest time. I am all for sitting someone down and trying to talk and explain like myself, and say, hey, this is who I am, so they can maybe get it themselves. I remember when that happened, my grandma lost her shit, frankly, and was pissed off. And that devastated me, because I didn't think we had a perfect relationship, but I knew it was there. And she lived down closer to us. This was the one relative that actually lived close to me that I'd never, experienced my majority of my life. She tried to call me, and I remember I didn't answer. And I'm honestly grateful that I did, because I knew that would have hurt me. She calls my mom. And when she calls my mom, she's asking about what's going on and about me. And she's like, well, someone else said it to me. And I don't exactly believe that, because I knew she followed me on Instagram at the time. And she wasn't very happy at all. Not remotely. And my mom had to tell her off, quite frankly. One thing about my mother is a protective fucking woman. She really was like, absolutely not, I'm not dealing with this shit. So I was so grateful for my mom for that. And after that happened, I didn't say anything to my grandma because I was like, I don't feel comfortable right now. And I just really like shut down. Like I could not speak to her because I was like, I don't like how she's being so hostile about me. And I don't remember everything because there was so much that when you get anxious, sometimes your mind, I don't remember having too much memory. But I remember there was a time where my brothers went over to her house and she was like raising her voice and getting pissy at them and getting aggressive with them. Now, mind you, they're younger at the time when this is happening. And I was pissed. I'm like, I'm sorry. Who the fuck are you to be speaking to my siblings disrespectfully? If you're going to be a dick to me. And so that was the time where I was like, I'm done. You're being disrespectful to my mom, being disrespectful to my siblings. I know you're not going to be nice to me. And that was just the final straw for me. And I didn't talk to her. And I haven't in years. Yeah. And that's sad because and I know it could be worse, right? I know it could be worse. I know there are people who have been kicked out of their homes who have lost parents over being true to who they are. I know it could be worse, but it still hurts because I never had like a close relationship with a grandparent besides like the one who passed away. And I always envied other kids who had relationships like that. And so when I lost that, I had to cut because I just knew I couldn't do it anymore. I'm not going to deal with someone who's not going to truly love me. It was sad, and I was so angry because I was like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? You're going to lose your shit over the fact that I am also attracted to women, that I also like other genders. That's your thing. That's your problem. That's the breaking point for you with me. And I'm not kidding. To this day, I actually have screenshots. She texted me pretty much saying she was confused I wasn't speaking to her. And essentially like, confusion on like, well, it's not my fault. I don't want my granddaughter to fall into sin and, lots of religious shit. This is so hard because sometimes I invalidate my own emotions here because if someone else is sitting right next to me, I would be like, hey girl, no, it's okay to be sad about this. But, I know it could be worse. I have an amazing family that was immediately supportive of me. I know that's not something that everyone gets to experience, but it broke my heart that there was a limit to a grandparent's love for me. And I still have the text saved to this day of her talking to me and going, you have a problem. Like essentially just pointing out like I'm going to sin and all this stupid shit. And she'll try and send a card every year, a card for Christmas and everything. And I just don't care anymore because I'm like, I'm not going to deal with somebody who has hate in their heart like that. Because one thing I can't comprehend is having a child, a grandchild, or anyone feel unloved because of the way you respond to who they love. I don't understand that. I don't comprehend that. It doesn't make any sense to me. And that happened and that hurt. It hurt a lot. And it bothers me to this day because I don't know if anyone else can relate to this. I was like, damn, whoever I marry, I'm going to have to be like, sorry, I don't really have a lot of direct family. Like, it's going to be small. The biggest amount of people that will show up to a wedding of mine is going to be friends, like people who are not blood related, because I just, besides my really direct family, I don't have that, And it sucks and it's unfortunate. But at the end of the day, I have my family. I literally have my direct family who are so supportive of me and I'm grateful, and I mean, even now I have a nephew and I have a sister-in-law who are just added to my family who is so supportive and would be so happy with whoever I walk down the aisle with, if I ever were to get married. And that was something that was a struggle for me with coming out. Now, with everyday life and my dating experiences, this one kind of hits deep for me. And this is actually why I never really talked about this a lot on social media, is unfortunately I would get because I've predominantly dated men in my past, or I would only vocalize that I dated men, I would get some people saying it's just a phase. It's not real, not believe me with being bisexual, like just gaslighting me to say I'm not who I am. And, you'll get over it. Or like just making fun of me. I avoided it because I was so tired of having to validate my sexuality and be like, no, guys, I am who. But then on the flip side, after a point, I was like, no matter what, someone's going to say something. No matter what, somebody's going to have an opinion, a perspective. Why the hell should I prevent myself from expressing every detail of me if I want to with the internet or whoever I want to? I shouldn't have to sit here and be like, fuck, like, am I, this? But I did. I'm going to be honest with you. I did. I predominantly dated men in my past. And for a while, I had like no experiences with women. I'm like, fuck, I'm going to get shit for this. That's annoying, but it is what it is. And it was just kind of quiet because for the longest time, I felt like I wasn't queer enough to share my story, to talk about these things. I felt like, oh, well, I don't meet these criteria, so I should be quiet. And that was so not true. That was not true whatsoever. And I'm still discovering myself. You know, I also was like really intimidated because for the longest time, I felt like there was a right way of doing things. Like there was a right way of having a certain experience, or like I had to have a relationship with a woman in order to be bisexual, like all these things. And I have had my dating experiences with women. Absolutely. And have I told them yet? No, because I've been too nervous. I think the more that I've come around to understanding myself, the more that I realize I don't fucking owe anyone anything. And that's kind of what I want to say in this podcast. I don't want you to think that you owe anyone an explanation for your sexuality. If you're figuring it out, you're figuring it out. If you're figuring it out still, why the fuck do you owe anyone else an explanation for it? Like, truly, if you don't even fully get what's going on and you're trying to understand yourself and learn how to express yourself, why in the world do you owe anyone else an explanation? I don't think that you need to. I don't think that you would like actually have to. So, sorry, there's people that are like passing by right now and I feel kind of nervous. But why do you have to tell everyone everything? I don't think you do. I don't think anyone should be expected to go through this long fucking laundry list of like, well, I have done this. And yes, I've definitely eaten box. Of course I have. And I've definitely done this. And I've definitely picked up the like, no, I don't have to. I can just exist knowing who I am, and I don't have to tell anyone anything. But I want to. I want to talk about these things. I want to express these kinds of experiences and stories with myself. But I don't want to feel pressure of if I'm like doing this wrong, because I can't. I am learning and understanding myself as life goes. And there's people who finally come out and experience, you know, their true selves at 50. This is a spectrum. And you know what? Whether I'm here or whatever, it doesn't even matter. You change and grow as a person, and the pressure to be perfect, I mean, just societally and also on women, it is so intense. And fuck that. I don't want to be a part of the like, I have to be perfect, you know? And so I've been really working on letting that go and not sitting and thinking, am I bisexual enough for somebody? Like, do I have to list this off to validate this? I feel more free that way. I feel better of like, no, if someone's going to shit talk or bother me or say something rude of like, well, you haven't done this, have you? You don't fucking know. You don't fucking know. I haven't told you about it. I don't have to go on this list to prove myself. I know who I am, you know, and I haven't really expressed a lot of my experiences, I would say, because I was so scared of getting judged. And I don't want to live like that. I don't want to be like, damn, I only can say this or talk about this. No, I have dated both men and women before. I'm not nervous about how someone's going to take that. I don't give a fuck, because if somebody is going to go out of their way to misunderstand me, to say that I'm not bisexual enough, that's their own problem. And I'm not going to entertain it. That's not something I want you guys to think. I don't want anyone to make you feel invalidated with your sexuality or you self-discovering. If you feel like something's different, if you're trying to learn more about yourself, focus on you. Focus on learning that aspect about you. You don't owe anyone this explanation of why or who you are. That's your business. And I just also want to say that I was bisexual even before I had any experiences with women. That was still valid. You don't have to have this full-blown, you don't have to be sleeping or doing anything with one gender. You don't have to. You just know who you are at the end of the day. I felt that way through certain experiences or like DMs or things like that I would get. And so then I just got more quiet because I just didn't want to feel judged. And I'm just at a point where like, that's just a part of it. That's a part of life. That's a part of experiences with everything. And I've talked about this on my channel before. Like, you're going to get judged no matter what, right? There's going to be one person or several who are going to make fun of you, who are going to have something to say. And that doesn't mean it's valid. Everyone has an opinion. That doesn't mean it's right. That doesn't mean they're doing you any good. That doesn't mean shit, okay? Focus on you. Focus on you and what makes you happy. And for me, what makes me happy is just being honest about myself, about things that I experience. And I'm not going to tiptoe around me talking about my experiences and this topic just to make somebody else more comfortable. And I know another few things that I had to kind of experience in the dating world when it comes to being bisexual is men. I know. I'm so sorry. We must bring them up once. I know. Another thing with being bisexual that I started experiencing negatively is if I would ever to date men or go out on dates, unfortunately, if I brought that detail up, 3 things would happen. Either they're normal, which that was a very small percentage. They're normal. They don't have any like concern or thought or la 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 la. Or 2, they get aggressive about it and like disgusted, aggressive, like, ew, ew, go away. Or 3, they think, oh, I can benefit from you. Oh my God. The more that I would date and express like, hey, I'm bisexual, by the way, just a heads up on that, I would have the wildest shit thrown out at me. Like I remember one dude immediately getting the ick and leaving a date. And I was like, oh, I mean, the trash took itself out. I'm not worried about that. But I was like, oh my God. I remember having some men who'd be like, oh, okay, so that means threesomes. I'm like, actually, no, it doesn't mean threesomes. I would immediately be perceived as some kind of sex object to benefit them. And that was so fucking gross. That was like, are you kidding me? Like all of a sudden your eyes lighten up at the fact that I say that I'm bisexual and you immediately go to the idea of, oh, threesomes, or you're going to do this, you're going to do that. No, actually, I don't want to do that with you. And I certainly don't want to fuck you anymore. That's for damn sure. I would have sometimes like these guys being like, oh, I'll pray over you. And I'm like, whoa, no, thank you. So that was another thing that I started experiencing in the dating world. I'm going to be honest. Here's another thing. Oh my God. I have wanted to go to Pride so badly, and I'm not going to be able to go this year because like I'm not in Kansas City yet. And I don't think there's anything that's going on where I live right now, but I've never gone to Pride. And I've always wanted to, but I shit you not. You know what's prevented me? 1, it has been far away. I'm going to be like Kansas City Pride was what I wanted to go, but it was like far away. And I was like, oh no, I don't know anyone. I was scared. I've never been, and it was kind of scary. And because it's new, I've never been, I've always wanted to. And I'm really excited because now living in Kansas City, I am going to finally be able to go, not this year, unfortunately, but next year. I'm really excited. So those are just like several things that I experienced with my bisexual journey and being nervous because like I'm also scared about my future, right? Like, especially with the political climate right now that we got going on in the United States, I'm totally scared. I am very, very nervous. And I can't even imagine what every queer couple is experiencing right now. There's so much fear going on. And yeah, I've definitely been scared about the things that can make life harder and empower hateful people to be more hateful. These are a lot of things that have been a part of my thought process and my journey. And at 25 now, I feel like I'm so much more sure and secure with myself and like being able to say like, no, this is me. I'm not going to let some fucking relative intimidate me. I'm not going to let a stranger on the internet make me feel like I'm not bisexual enough or good enough. I'm not doing that. I know who I am and that's it. And I feel good. I feel better. Like I'm excited. I'm excited to go to Pride for the first time. I want to so badly. Like, I'm excited to be able to be more open about these things and talk about these kinds of experiences. And even though it's intimidating because I know there's, a lot of unfortunate hate, I don't want to be quiet about me because there's nothing I should be quiet about. I should be proud of myself. I should be proud of how I've been brave and been honest with myself and is able to be living true to myself because I know some people who don't live true to themselves and I don't want to be that. So that's some of my details about my experience of being bisexual, learning about myself, growing, and I feel like I still am learning about myself, and I haven't moved yet. This is going to sound really silly, but I'm like more eager to move to Kansas City because I'm ready to be able to be around more people that I can relate to and connect to. Yeah, that was it for today's video. I know this is like a combination of a lot of stuff going on, but what do you guys think? What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? I'm happy I talked about this. I feel better talking about these things. And like, comment down below your experiences, your stories, anything you can relate to, whatever you feel comfortable with, let me know. But regardless, happy Pride. I love you. I am proud of you. Don't let some hateful bastard make you feel guilty or bad for your existence. What you're doing, I don't want to see any loser making you feel bad because you have no reason to feel bad. You are born this way. This is how you are. This is who you are. And you should be able to be loud and proud of it as I am trying to do the same as well. Okay, so I love you. This is a podcast that is always going to love and support you. You've got this. I've got this. We've got this, and I've got you. Oh, girl, that was good. So thank you guys so much, and don't forget that I have got you. Bye.